Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 11th, 2024 License Commission meeting. Secretary Pyer, has the meeting been posted?
Yes, it has.
Roll call, please.
Commission Chair Howe.
Here.
Commissioner Krieger.
Here.
Commissioner Donahue.
Here.
Commissioner Mercier.
Here.
Commissioner Tang.
Yeah.
5 present.
Before we start with the agenda, I would like to welcome back Commissioner Joseph Donahue. Thank you very much for coming back, Joe.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
First item on the agenda.
0th is the acceptance of the December 28th, 2023 minutes.
Move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All those in... Oh, Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Present.
Hearing none. Motion carries. Next.
Application by Suzanne Hodge for a special one-day license to sell, dispense wines and malt beverages only for an Affirmation of Life, Art from Today's Ukraine fundraiser on Wednesday, February 14th, 2024 from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Loading Dock Gallery, 122 Western Ave.
Hi, good evening, and
Good
thank
evening.
you for having me.
Please state your name.
Suzanne Hodge.
Suzanne, why don't you tell us about your event?
Okay, it's the original event is going to be a month-long art show, and it's featuring art from the Ukraine, and we're doing this in partnership with the Ukrainian Cultural Initiative. We are going to have a opening reception Saturday, February 3rd, and then we are going to have this evening gala on, actually, instead of the 14th, we've moved it to the 21st, February 21st. And we're going to have, the art gallery will be open, and we're going to have music by Olena Czar. She's a bandura musician and singer, wonderful voice and beautiful music, and also traditional Ukrainian egg painting, which is called Sansky. So, and it'll last from 6 to 8.
Approximately how many people are you expecting?
It's difficult to say, maybe 100, 200,
And
you
how
know,
many
maybe
bartenders
100.
are you planning?
Pardon me?
How many bartenders are you planning?
We would have 2.
And are those bartenders tip certified?
So I'm not sure.
Have you held this license before?
We've held a license to dispense, but not to sell.
But are you aware of your duties and responsibility as far as dispensing?
Yes.
Right. Any questions from the board?
Move approval.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Right,
It's
thank
been
you.
approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Application by Peter Crew, City of Lowell Director of Cultural Events, for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for Lowell Winterfest to be held on Friday and Saturday, February 16th, 5 to 10 p.m., and February 17th, noon to 10 p.m., on Middle Street and Palmer Street in downtown Lowell.
Good evening. State your name for the record.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson. Peter Crew, Director of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, City of Lowell.
Thank you for being here, Peter. Why don't you tell us about the event?
Absolutely. This year, we're very excited to be moving Winterfest back right into downtown Lowell. We will be on Mill Street and Palmer Street, closing those streets for the weekend, setting up music tents at the Enterprise Bank parking lot and over on Derby Park on Mill Street. And we'll have street activations happening throughout Middle Street and Palmer Street, and music stages set up in the Enterprise Bank parking lot and in Derby Park, with 12 bands going on throughout Friday and Saturday.
Excellent. Any comments from the board?
So is it only in that location? Is not going to be at JFK Plaza or?
No, we'll be strictly in the Palmer Middle Street rectangle downtown.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, we will be, all of the amplified music will be there. The soup competition and chocolate festival will be happening at St. Anne's right across the street.
Any other comments?
Move approval. Second.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Application by P.J. Mercier for 2 special one-day licenses to sell dispense wines and malt beverages only for Lowell Winterfest to be held on Friday and Saturday, February 16th, 5 to 10 p.m., February 17th, noon to 10 p.m. in the City of Lowell Derby Park, 70 Middle Street.
Hello, I'm
Hello, state your name for the record.
PJ Mercia, Navigation Brewing Company.
Nice to see you.
You too.
And is there a recusal?
Oh, he's recusing himself.
Why don't you tell us about the event?
To add on to what Peter had said, we're going to be we're going to have a beer garden over at Derby Park, and then we will be serving beer over at the event tent on Middle Street, sorry, where the live music is.
Excellent. Questions, comments from the board?
If I might just, yeah, I know you have experience, you run Navigation Brewery, but you'll have ample people to take.
Oh, yeah. We'll actually probably be shutting down the brewery that day and moving like the entire operation over there. So we have all staff on deck.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they're experienced in serving the public.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Tang to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One present. Motion carries. You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good luck.
Application by Fiona Brennan for 2 special one-day licenses to sell dispense wines and malt beverages only at Mill No. 5, 250 Jackson Street. The first is for a market events and concert on Saturday, January 20th, 2024 from noon to 11 p.m. The second is for a concert on Saturday, January 27th, 2024 from 6 to 11 p.m.
Is Fiona Brennan here?
I am not seeing Fiona. Okay, put it to the end.
Yes, move on to the next one.
Applications by Lou Aurelio for 2 special one-day licenses to sell dispense malt beverages and wines for events that will be held at Lowell Memorial Auditorium, 50 East Merrimack Street on Sunday, January 21st, 2024, 5 p.m. to midnight, for Bored Teachers, the musical, and Saturday, January 27th, 2024, noon to 10 p.m. for Turn It Up Dance.
Good evening. State your name for the record.
Lou Aurelio, General Manager, Director of Food and Beverage at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. Why don't you tell us about the events?
Sure. The Board Teachers event is a combination comedy type musical event, so, be a lot of laughs. All of our staff that work there, as always, are all tip certified with all the amount of events that we do. We're probably looking at about 1,500 people for this event, so it's selling pretty well.
Excellent.
And then the dance, we're rolling into our dance season now as we are with the gloves as well. So, we just kind of woof right into those on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays after Thursdays. So this will be the first of the season. It's going to be a smaller crowd for this one. So we're probably looking at maybe around 500 to 600 people for that one.
Excellent. Questions, comments from the board?
Move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Mercier to approve, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Application by Steve Severson for a special one-day license to sell dispense wines only for the Abstraction Artist Reception on Saturday, January 20th from 3 to 5 p.m. at Arts League of Lowell, 307 Market Street.
Good evening. State your name.
Steve Severson.
How are you doing, Steve?
I'm well. How are you?
Please tell us about the event.
It's another one of our gallery show receptions. This one is Abstractions, so come see the show. We have 100 pieces of abstract art in the gallery.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Motion on the floor?
Move approval. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Krieger to approve. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Do I give you money? You didn't hear me.
Oh, you can leave it in the, so I have an envelope right there?
Oh, got it. I'll fix you up.
Fiona's joining the meeting on Zoom.
Back to item 4 on the agenda.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve.
Hi, Fiona.
Hi,
Right.
how are you?
Good. Would you like me to reread the app?
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Application by Fiona Brennan for 2 special one-day licenses to sell dispense wines and malt beverages only at Mill Number 5, 250 Jackson Street. The first is for a market events and concert on Saturday, January 20th, 2024 from noon to 11 p.m. The second is for a concert on Saturday, January 27th, 2024 from 6 to 11 p.m.
Please state your name for the record.
Fiona Brennan.
Hi, Fiona. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Why don't you tell us about your events?
All right, so on January 20th, we have a sort of Renaissance fair thing happening on the 5th floor of Mill Number 5. So that's during the day, and there's going to be art, entertainment, a costume contest, and then we have a concert that night as well. And we have another one of our concerts on January 27th.
And you've held this license before, is that true?
Yes, I have. I work with Joel Mongen.
Right. Approximately how many people are you expecting at each event?
It's a good question, probably around 50.
And what's the plan for the bartenders? How many?
We have one bartender at each event, and they are tip certified.
Excellent. Questions, comments?
If I might, one question.
Oh, yes.
One question. Where are the musicians setting up? You said on the 5th floor?
On the 5th floor of Mill Number 5, yes.
And what part of the, down the end where the, which end of the, where will the musicians be? In what part of the 5th floor?
So there's a function hall on the 5th floor called the Overlook, which is
Okay.
where we often hold concerts, yes.
That's what it'll be? Thank you.
At the Overlook, yeah.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Mercier to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Good luck, Fiona.
Awesome, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Violation hearing regarding allegations of misconduct charged against Catcher's Mitt Pub Incorporated, 726 Gorham Street, Tracy Flynn, license manager, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee. Allegations of misconduct occurred on November 22nd, 2023, and include violations of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 16, changing or tampering with alcoholic beverages, and Section 1.06, compliance of all laws and regulations of the alcoholic beverages regulations for licenses issued by the Lowell License Commission.
Is Tracy or James Flynn here?
Good evening.
Good evening. Please state your name.
James Flynn.
And I know that we received a document stating that you were going to be acting on behalf of your wife, Tracy.
Yes.
All right. First of all, we're sorry about the injury to Tracy. I hope she's doing better.
Thank you.
Right. So at this time, I'd like to ask Captain Peasley to read the complaint,
Thank you, Madam.
and you'll have a chance to respond.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Lowell Police Department respectfully requests that enforcement action be taken against the Catcher's Mitt Pub, which does business as the Catcher's Mitt Pub at 726 Gorham Street, Lowell, Massachusetts, for the violations that took place during the early evening hours of November 22nd, 2023, specifically violation of Section 1.06, which is the compliance with all laws and regulations of the state of Massachusetts. Early Wednesday evening on November 22nd, 2023, at approximately 9:40 p.m., officers assigned to the Lowell Police Neighborhood Action Unit, along with members of the Lowell Fire Department, the Lowell Building Inspectors, and the Lowell Health Inspectors, conducted a compliance check of the catcher's mitt, which is a licensed premise for the compliance with the alcohol beverage regulations issued by the Lowell License Commission. Sergeant Jose Ramirez and Officer Andre Bolivar had the opportunity to speak with the bartender at night, who identified himself as Mark Richards. Officer Bolivar requested to see the pub's liquor storage area and was led by Mr. Richards to the basement and to a locked closet. Upon entering the closet, Officer Bolivar observed 5 boxes of 1.75-liter Captain Morgan Spice rum on the ground. On top of these boxes, he observed an opened half-filled bottle of Jägermeister. As Officer Bolivar continued the inspection of his closet, he observed a 3-level shelf. On the shelf, he noted that there was an assortment of 5 open 1.75-liter bottles of alcohol, to include Jameson Irish Whiskey, Captain Morgan's Rum, Crown Royal, Chivas Regal, and Smirnoff Vodka. All of these bottles were at different levels of consumption. On the second level of the shelving, Officer Bolivar observed 9 1.75-liter bottles of Granite State Vodka. Officer Bolivar then noted that nowhere in the upstairs serving area did he observe Granite State vodka bottles. Instead, he observed 1-liter sized bottles of more expensive vodka. Officer Bolivar then stated to Mr. Richards that he noted that the bottles of liquor behind the bar in the serving area were either 750 milliliter sized bottles or 1-liter bottles, but there were no similar sized bottles in the liquor storage closet that he saw down in the liquor cabinet. He also noted that there were no 1.75-liter bottles of any type in the upstairs serving area. He then asked Mr. Richards if there was another storage area where smaller sized bottles of 750 milliliter and 1-liter bottles might be stored, but Mr. Richards confirmed that this closet area was the only liquor storage location in the bar. Should be noted that all these observations and interactions were recorded and memorialized on Officer Bolivar's Lowell Police Body-worn camera. Based upon the observations listed above, it is my belief that prima facie evidence exists that shows that the Catcher's Mitt Pub is using cheaper vodka, which would be Granite State Vodka, which has a retail value of approximately $7.99 per 1.75 liters, to refill the more expensive 1-liter bottles of vodka that they observed, including Tito's Vodka, which, for example, a 1.75-liter retails for $29.99. Additionally, the observations above also show that the Catcher's Mitt is refilling the 1-liter liquor bottles using the stored 1.75-liter bottles of similar liquor. These actions are in clear violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 16, which includes changing or tampering with alcohol beverages, and therefore they are in violation of Section 106 and the Alcohol Beverage Commission license is issued by the Lowell License Commission. For the reasons above, the superintendent is respectfully requesting that the License Commission take action against this bar.
Thank you. So, Mr. Flynn, you have presented to the commission a document that appears to be a power of attorney. It's dated December 21st, 2023, and it's signed by your wife, Tracy, authorizing you to speak
Yes.
on her behalf. Do you have a position at the Catcher's Mitt?
Yes, so I've been employed there since 1999. I've worked for 4 different owners, and I was a doorman there from 1988 to 1992. In between, I'm a retired prison guard.
Right. And what is your current job there?
So my wife is the owner manager. Since she's been out on the accident, I've been filling in, but I do a lot of day-to-day operations coordinated with her.
Right. So you are familiar with this downstairs locked closet where
I
the
am.
liquor is stored?
Yes.
And you heard Captain Peasley read the complaint. Now,
Yes.
do you dispute anything in that complaint?
So just for the record, so basically how we do things is usually on Monday and Tuesday every week, we meet with salespeople. We always try to get the best deal possible, so we'll sit down with the salespeople. What do you have on deal? Captain Morgan's, Tito's. Sometimes liters are cheaper. Sometimes half a gallon's cheaper. We go by ounce cost. So there are times we buy half gallons. There are times we buy liters. I would just state that we don't, access for employees is kind of limited, but that cabinet is unlocked because there is no reason for us to lock it. It has a padlock on it, but it's not locked because we've been running the operation the same way. But I would note too that the officer, I understand he's doing his job. Part of that cabinet that he went in the back, I believe he had to use his flashlight because there was no light. Well, there's another door to the cabinet. It's separated by a foundation wall. And on the front door, which they didn't go in, if you open it, you can turn the light on and see everything. That is also a storage area. So in that area, we also have cases of liter bottles, cases of half gallons, and we use whatever, we have at the time. What we do on the shelves behind the bar is because we have limited space. If we're using liter bottles, we use all liters. Like we never, I don't put up a couple of half gallons and a couple of liters just to keep everything uniform.
So you were not there on the night of November 22nd,
I was
correct?
not.
And that was a Wednesday?
That was the night before Thanksgiving, the busiest night.
When did you find out about this compliance check?
I believe my bartender called me about 9:30. I think it was between 9:30 and 10 o'clock maybe, and said that building inspector, fire, and Lowell police came in and did, but when he called me, they were gone.
So I want to read parts of the police report because I have some questions on, and I want you to try to give us an explanation on those.
Yep.
First of all, when the police officer went in on a level 3 shelf, he spotted 5 open 1.75 bottles of Jameson, Captain Morgan, 1.7 liter bottles of Jameson, Captain Morgan, Crown Royal, Chivas Regal, and Smirnoff. And all the bottles were at different levels.
Yes.
Can you explain why that was the situation? Because the officer has concluded in his report that you were using that to refill smaller bottles.
Correct, and I can understand that. So the night before Thanksgiving is notoriously the busiest night of the year. So what we did during the day was I wanted to make sure that we put all, because of the limited bar space we have 2 sides of the bar set up, and it's probably about a 3-foot area on each side. So because of that night, knowing it was going to be busy, what we did was we made sure all full bottles, every bottle on the bar was full, and we took any bottle that was on the bar at the time that was half full, and we just put them downstairs with the intention is usually what we'll do is if we have half full bottles or almost empty bottles, we bring them out on like a Monday or a Tuesday night. I'll put them on the shelf because it's slower nights, and I'm not worried about if they run out. But the night before Thanksgiving, I don't want anyone having to run downstairs and switch, take time away from the bar to be switching out bottles.
And what about the allegations about the Granite State vodka? Why do you have so many bottles in storage and none of them are out?
So we don't sell that. The bottles were unopened. They were on the cabinet, again, unlocked cabinet. Basically, what I've done in the past is we get so many calls for raffles and golf functions, and so over the years that they used to ask us, hey, can you donate a bottle or whatever? So instead of donating a bottle of Tito's, I picked that up, and I would just, so I wouldn't say no, I would give people, say, listen, we'll donate this. So it's not something we sell. They were unopened. And we were also, that night, we were doing we do a Thanksgiving and Christmas raffle where we do some scratch tickets, bottle of vodka, Bloody Mary mix, and on Christmas, we do scratch tickets, bottle of vodka, and eggnog. So it's not something we sell. That's why it wasn't up on the shelf.
I don't have any questions for the police officers. The report is self-explanatory. I'm going to open up the floor to the other commissioners.
If I might, busiest night of the year, you weren't there?
I was not. My wife is ill.
It was a family reason?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes. Can I ask, so Mr. Richard here, how long have you worked there?
Since 1999.
Since 1999.
And I worked there in 1988 to 92 also.
So in the report, the police officer asked him a lot of questions about where do you guys do you store the other bottle? Like, is there any additional storage? And then he doesn't know. He doesn't know where.
Correct.
But he's been working there for a long time.
We don't encourage our employees to, I don't explain to them to where everything is. Usually me and my wife, we take care of that. So they just come in and work with what we've provided them with. If we let people have, we have a system in place to avoid anything going missing. So we don't encourage them to, going and replacing everything. We do that ourselves.
Thank you.
Commissioner Krieger?
So this other cabinet wasn't obvious?
When you walk down the stairs, you take a left and the cabinet door is there, and then you can also go down to the ramp and around the back, and there's another cabinet door. So I obviously wasn't there, but assuming what was going on, they went down the ramp and opened the back door, and that's why there was no light switch, because the light is in the other side. Because I believe they were using a flashlight to look at everything, but on the other side is a door and a light, and there's also a 2-shelf in a floor cabinet. Due to the space, again, we try to buy things on deal, so if we could buy 10, 20 cases at a time, and so we use multiple storage areas.
Kept Beasley, do we have any previous history of shenanigans at the Catcher's Mitt in this area?
This is the first time we conducted an alcohol compliance check to this this extensive, so especially at the Catcher's Mitt. So I can't answer to that.
So I know I've been on the board since 2016, and I don't think they've ever been before us.
No.
Right. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, if it
Oh,
be
yes.
acceptable to the commission, I would just ask maybe 2 or 3 questions of Officer Bolivar.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Officer Bolivar. And if you could please state your name for the record and rank.
Officer Andres Bolivar, patrolman.
All right. Officer Bolivar, I'm not going to go over everything that's in the report because that's already in the record, but I just had maybe 2 or 3 clarifying questions. First, when you went down to the basement where there was that cabinet locked or unlocked?
It was locked.
Okay.
The bartender that night, Mr. Mark Richards, he had a set of keys with him on a ring that he brought downstairs with him that he used to unlock the cabinet facility.
Okay. And,
You can have a chance to respond.
and sir, you asked the bar manager, Mark Richards, whether or not there were other places where that liquor was stored. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was his response to that question?
His response was no. This was the only area that liquor would be stored in the facility.
And when you conducted your search of that basement area, did you see another cabinet door beyond the one that bartender Richard showed to you?
No.
All right. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions for Officer Boulevard. If the commission has any, I'll defer to them.
I have no questions.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank
Thank you, officer. If you'd like to respond, Mr. Flynn?
There is a padlock on that door, but it is not locked. He might have grabbed some keys thinking, but if I had him here today, he would, it's just, the padlock hangs, you just turn it and lift it off. It's not locked. It hasn't been locked in years.
Sir, you understand the concerns that have been expressed here and the seriousness of it?
I do, sir, yes. This is my livelihood. Me and my wife, like I said, have been there since 1999. It's how I provide for my family. I have 8 children. This is what we do. I know the rules. I know, I know what it looks like, but I can assure you that is not what we're doing. I'm not going to jeopardize business and livelihood and, for cheap booze, and it does, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take that type of risk.
The police officer has made a conclusion based on the circumstantial evidence that was there. There was no direct evidence. There's no employee or former employee that dropped a dime and admitted this is what was going on. You've denied the allegations. You've given us an explanation. Because you've never been before this board, at least since I've been here, I'm going to make a motion that we place this on file.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion? So the motion on the floor to place on file, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. Roll call?
Commissioner Howe. Sorry, Commissioner Howe.
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger.
Yes.
Commissioner Donahue. Yes. Commissioner Mercier.
Yes.
Commissioner Tang.
Yes.
5 in favor, none opposed. Motion carries.
So you do have in your favor that you've never been here before, but now you have.
Right.
So hopefully we won't be seeing you again unless we're going to the catcher's mitt.
If I
You won't.
might, Madam Chairman, I was just going to say the same thing, that we can't forget this. If, don't come
got
back, and from your track record of the years that I've been on the board, and now back again, I don't expect to see you. But I would expect that you would, knowing and having worked in conjunction with the police for 40 years, that you'll probably see compliance checks again,
Yep.
and you'll be prepared for it.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, could I add one extra thing to this, which is setting aside the fact that it's also illegal under Massachusetts law, the Internal Revenue Service also considers refilling liquor bottles to be a form of tax evasion.
Correct.
And so if this is something that you're doing, you should stop now.
Yeah.
Because believe me, whatever the Lowell License Commission has to say, the IRS is going to be a much bigger problem for you, sir.
Understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I didn't, I was thinking, was that my inside voice or my outside voice?
I don't know. It's too much here. No, the tie here.
I said it, no, it's
It's fine.
Do we ever